Hi, I'm Brett from 4x4 Obsession. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about servicing your four-wheel drives. First of all, especially with four-wheel drives that are used off-road a lot, it's very, very important to make sure you do keep up to servicing, if not slightly over-service the vehicle. The type of work that these vehicles do off-road, the mud, the water, the rocks, the sand that they actually play in does get into bits and pieces in the driveline and into the engine. So it's very, very important to make sure that you do change your oil filter, air filter and fuel filter quite regularly. When you do this, make sure you do use quality parts. There are a lot of cheap ones on the market. The first thing is you want something that meets Australian standard. The second thing is you want something that is a quality brand. When you're looking for somebody to service your vehicle, I'd recommend that you do go to a four-wheel drive specialist. Main reasoning for this is they will know what they're looking for beyond what a normal mechanic may do. It's quite easy to change oil and filters, but knowing what to look for, damage under the vehicle, the fact that diffs may get a little bit of moisture or water in them, they're the type of things that need to be checked prior to causing any damage to the vehicle. Most vehicles these days have a fairly extended service period. I'd recommend that the minimum that you do is the manufacturer's specification. Some vehicles are 5,000, 10, even out to 15,000 these days. Most of the ones with the higher end of the scale of 15,000 use specific synthetic oil grades in their vehicles. But still, if you are doing outback work or remote work, change the fuel filter far more regularly than the 15,000 kilometres. The fuel quality that you may be picking up in areas like that, especially fueling out of jerry cans or remote areas, a fuel filter is very, very cheap insurance over having to get the car towed back in due to an injector failure. That said, if you are planning to do a fairly big or extensive trip, it's always a great idea to at least get a pre-trip inspection done by a four-wheel drive shop, if not have the vehicle serviced before you leave, and then have the same done when you get back, just to pick up on any damage or any up-and-coming faults that may be picked up prior to them causing damage. I always advise my customers, if they're doing outback or remote area travel, that they should always carry at least, as a bare minimum, a spare fuel filter and a spare air filter for their vehicle. This just allows them not to cut the trip short, and it also encourages them to constantly check their air filter and clean it, and change the fuel filter if they are in a fairly remote area that the fuel quality is not so great. We quite often hear horror stories of people that have been out on travels and the filter light, especially in current model vehicles, has come on the dash. It's simple insurance to carry the spare filters and change them. To continue to drive with the filter light on, it could end up with a bill of over $20,000 if it actually hand grenades an engine. So for the sake of most filters being around the $20 mark, $20 is very, very cheap insurance against $20,000. The other thing is, before you do go out there, ensure that you do know how to fit these filters. I'm Brett from 4x4 Obsession. Get your vehicle serviced and maintained by a four-wheel drive specialist and you should have no problems.